Ooh-ee. Looks like we had some problems. But I think they might be good to go. Alright, my friends. Oh, good God. Good God. Let's put chicken versus duck on. It's fucking loud. This music is loud for being on 3. Look at this, 34 now. Ooh, boop, 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 boop. Chicken versus duck is the same one as duck taco? Impossible. All right, everyone. So, today we're reading an excerpt from The War on Conservatives by Mark Dice. Last reading was The Great Reset and the War for the World by Alex Jones. Just so you know, I just recorded this whole thing and it was without volume from my boca, my mouth. So I definitely I might change the whole situation. No, I won't, because I remember what page I was on. We're gonna read The Coming Collapse of the United States. What? What does that mean? Someone's at the door. Wake the fuck up. You ready? The polarization between red states and blue states has never, ever been more intense. And that's a fact. Aside from the Civil War era, whatever. The coronavirus lockdowns in 2020 and 2021 clearly showed the vast disagreement between different states regarding mandates for mass vaccines and forced school and business closures. And with such dramatically different views regarding abortion, school curriculums, transgenderism, reparations, and other irreconcilable differences divides, many wonder at what point do we have a national divorce and split the country in two, or numerous different republics. We want republics, not democracies. This is a republic. Democracies are gross. Anyway, when the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, various regions broke off into independent republics, and the borders of many countries have changed throughout history as they rose and fell. So it's not unforeseeable that at some point in the future, the United States could break apart into various regional republics. Nearly a dozen conservative counties in Oregon have been trying to secede and be annexed into Idaho in what's called the Greater Idaho Movement, and they want to call that state Jefferson, which would be great because we would have another conservative state. Takes some points away from California and Oregon, the two of the three most disgusting places in the country. For decades, fringe voices have been calling for Texas to secede, but nobody took such people seriously. Although now many have been wondering what possible solution is there to America's growing cultural divide other than a national divorce. If the Supreme Court gets stacked with a liberal majority and keeps passing draconian laws that businesses and teachers would have to legally follow or get sued into bankruptcy, like the Equality Act that Democrats keep hoping to cram through, which would force everyone to recognize dozens of different genders and allow anyone to declare themselves a man or a woman or neither, and let them to participate in any activities which had been exclusive to that sex, including giving them access to locker rooms and showers, and competing on girls' sports teams if someone self-identifies as a girl, then what recourse would normal people have at that point? Well, I could tell you the answer to that, but I'm not going to say it. I think y'all already know. Businesses would lose their license and be shut down and sued by left-wing activists. They're already doing it, so imagine if it was even worse. Or the Justice Department for violating the civil rights of the gender benders. Employees would be fired if they refused to play along with the transgender customer's identity. She called me a he and I'm a she and he's a she and he's a she reminds you of Mrs. Doubtfire. He's a she, she's a he, she's a she. Or if they refer to a coworker as a he, him, or she, her, if that person identifies as gender non-binary and they were a she, her yesterday, now they're a he, it today. And we don't know. And they might even wear their buttons, but I ain't reading them. You know what? Relationships between me and other humans don't rely on the buttons that you're wearing and patches and pins, and and that I have to read them before I conversate with you. If that's the case, I want nothing to do with you. What do you have in common with today's Democrats, or what do I? What do you? What do we? Our moral values, political interests, and economic models are completely polar opposite. The old days of trying to find common ground on various issues or compromise on certain things in order to win other concessions are over. That's a fact. The debates about what to do politically with the country are no longer about which group of people should get tax cuts or which communities should get federal funding for infrastructure or social welfare programs. They're much more personal. And the differences are so much more extreme than anyone in previous generations could ever have imagined. Every day, more conservatives want nothing to do with Democrat policies and vice versa, but good. We don't want them to have anything to do with our policies because they're nuts. And not just economic policies, but policies in schools and the workplace. We even have drastically different views about what entertainment we want to watch, since many long established shows, sporting events, and even television commercials now bombard audiences with divisive political propaganda using once great brand name products like Butt Light, Gillette, and Hershey's Squirts to normalize drag queens, celebrate gay marriage, and promote transgenderism to children. Yep, that's right. And as a hockey fan, most of my stuff is hockey. Got a Devils sweater on, hoodie, hat, got jerseys behind me. I do a Devils podcast. I'm a hockey fan. They got rid of Pride Night. Great. We don't need it. We don't need any sexual stuff being taught or shown to children. Pride is inherently sexual in general. They allowed the players now to use the tape. All right, some players are going to be brainwashed. What are you going to do? Our national debt is economically unsustainable. The lack of patriotism, and we see that. That's really sad. The lack of patriotism and open resentment and hatred for the United States. We see that a lot too. And Democrats watching this, don't deny it. You see it and you shouldn't like it. Think about it. Go to sleep. Think about it when you're sleeping. If it keeps you awake, you know you're wrong. From many of our own citizens is unprecedented. It is. Let me read that sentence again. The lack of patriotism and open resentment for and hatred for the United States from many of our own citizens is unprecedented. The floods of countless millions of illegal immigrants, aliens, who will never assimilate, they will never, and they have no plan to assimilate into American culture, are instead only diluting it by importing their own, forever changing the social landscape. Sorry, I'm very sick. Many historians, and ordinary Americans as well, let's not forget, see the warning signs flashing that we may be in the late stages of an empire, one that appears to be approaching a complete collapse. Now, that's an excerpt from The War on Conservatives that just came out November 7th, last Tuesday, by Mark Dice. Buy one for yourself. Buy one for someone who needs to read it. Buy one for someone who needs to hear about it. Rip the cover off. Give them a fake cover. You make it about plants and animals and climate change. And then let them start reading. Put it in their bathroom. They'll just open it. Random page. Look, Disney goes gay. Random page. You can just open to random pages and find different things. The next wave of censorship, coming after television stations. And everything has footnotes. Everything is backed up by its sources. Every single thing in this book. This book is magical. It's amazing, along with this one. But you can get this one for $3.99 on Amazon. When you buy this, get this one, get it up to the top of the charts where it already was, is, and probably, hopefully, will be. Where do I put this Mickey Mouse fuck sticker? Who knows? We'll find out later. Do you want it? Let me know. Maybe you can win it. Check it out. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. This has been a Duck Taco presentation.